Hello guys, it's me, Mythos, back at it again with one more one. And this one is the evening report. We have a lot of stuff to go through, and I don't have too much time because all the people have gone to sleep. All the children have been put to sleep, so I had to be silent. So if you're hanging with me, Kasha. We have Neil Pickup together with Luke Polcher. This is part 2 of the Deep Inside the Mind, and it's about the East versus West, one of the main reps. And they are going a bit into the background of Luke Polcher. And of course, in this video, they're talking about a lot of different topics. One of the topics that were interesting was the whole East versus West situation with the camera angles, and the fact that some of the angles that we got to see as audience and even the commentary booth, the referees didn't have access to those cameras. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, something in the technical department obviously didn't go as planned. And it's a bummer, what to say. Luke has got a lot of flack about that whole situation. And then after that, they were discussing about Luke's inspirations when it comes to refereeing. And then they were even talking about him as a competitor. A lot of interesting golden nuggets in this one. Like always, Mr. Neil Pickup, the real voice of arm wrestling. He really does make great questions and really brings forth Luke's character. So, with that being said, talking about character, Kasha, what is going on in this life? I mean, holy, Kevin was on fire, he was trolling the shit out of Odin, and then Odin with those return fires. I think this is like the first time I see an Aussie arm wrestler video, and Aussie is not talking. He's not making any joke, he's not cracking up with those snap, quickly, lickety, split, fun stuff. Because the other two guys were really going at it. That's not me throwing shade at Aussie. I was just really impressed with how good the build-up hype was between the two guys. Really amazing. Here I believe that Odin is having a bit too much fun, a bit too excited. And they were talking about like toys and stuff all the time. And then Kevin said that he has like adult-made toys. I didn't really understand what was going on in this live. Talking about Odin. Oh yeah, and by the way, Aussie arm wrestler. Talking about Odin, on his own channel he dropped this pull against James English at the Arnolds. Back in the day, they had a match in one of the Challenger series of East vs West, and that match was really contested when James English really got into his hook lane position, but then Odin basically technically dismantled James English. And this time, the interesting part was that, like, forget the technical aspect, I think that Odin was dismantling him in more positions this time. The only position that James English looked really strong in was, if you check it right here, so James English looked really strong right over there when Odin was stretched out, but at the same time he couldn't really finish. And then at first, when they were fighting and he was standing a bit more tall, he could get him. So when both men were standing tall, then James English seemed to have a bit more off the side. But then when Odin really got a bit more engaged on that pad, when he wasn't just giving him too much rope, it seemed like he was in control all the time. So yeah, clearly progression for Odin, but you can still see hints of him opening up a bit too much, and perhaps not having as much side control, as much side pressure. That's because he's probably not training it as much. If I remember correctly, Odin was talking about before, like now it's been months, but still he was saying that he doesn't really train side pressure that it mostly trains on the table. That's where he trains his side pressure. And when you're at that age, when everything is developing, I don't know how efficient that is, but that is what he's doing. So if he continues to succeed, like they've discussed a lot of times, Odin is currently an experiment. So we'll see how that goes. On to the next one. Booyakasha. Hermes Gasparini. Big news and talk about John and Brian. So a lot of the other channels will cover a lot of that, so I'm not going to cover that in particular. I'm instead going to talk about what a lot of people were interested in, which is the Irakli practice pool versus Hermes. A lot of people were asking like, what happened? Why didn't you pool against Irakli, and why were you getting out of position? So if you've seen that practice pool, it didn't really seem like they practiced that much. Irakli was just going that way, and Hermes was kind of letting him go there. And we covered that yesterday as well. But Hermes explains that in that particular practice pool, he was already very sore because he did a lot of biceps with Leonidas, Arcona, the day prior, and he was feeling tenderness and pain, and he didn't want to risk anything in a practice pool. So that's why he didn't really pull, and he just kind of like played around and felt, and then also, of course, he was also pulling a bit slowly with John Brazil, just getting a feel and out of respect, I would say, mostly. And then the second part of this video, and the reason why he dropped this live, is because he dropped his own program. So if you want to get stronger at arm wrestling a la Hermes style, this is where you go. With that being said, on to the next one. Booyakasha, talking about secret pooling. As you can see, Philip Larsson has ever since the injury dropped a lot of weight. So he's down at approximately 105. As you can see here, he still kept his thickness. I don't know why he lost that beard. And then on the opposite side, Irakli Zirakashvili, he kept growing his beard out after losing to Todd Hutchings. And then he seems to like have gotten up to like 170 kg or something. It's really intense, really crazy shit, honestly. Oh my god. It might be late, but I'm still in good humor, you know, in good faith. So yeah, they did wrong in the cards, and I found it a bit funny. So they were practice pulling. I found it interesting. As you can see, I have it a bit quick, I'm sorry about that. But if you check it in normal speed too, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Irakli is a practice pool champ. But honestly, in this practice pool, the part 2, I think the main fun stuff, the main interesting points was Lars Robaken, honestly. This right here. Look at this. He's holding Alex Kurdecha, and they're kind of tensing up and feeling each other out. And then when Alex Kurdecha tried to go as well, he didn't quite get the pin. Very interesting to see. So for me, I really have the Ricard match pretty close. I'm not exactly sure what will happen, but Lars is coming in a phenomenal shape, honestly. So that's gonna be really interesting. And he's seemingly bulking as well. And now, on to the next one. Booyakasha, Philip Larsson. Oh, and I forgot. Oh my god, it is getting late. This is in the official East vs West channel, and of course the link will be down below. Philip Larsson. So, get stronger for arm wrestling and fast. I really like this.
It makes sense. You want to be strong, do the stretch out position.
You know, he's talking about Hermes. It was Hermes actually that did this type of strict form on that tricep push. And because of that, Philip Larsson has coined it as the pasta tribunare because of the tricep. I really found that joke to be funny. So that's why I kept this particular part of the video. And I really like Philip Larsson's humor in general. Like after the benching, that was also fun. Just like doing a small little band.
Yes. So fifth and final set. Feeling great today as well. Plan for far more.
It was like close, nearby here.
20 kg in, or the system a little bit.
Okay, maybe it was earlier. I remember that he was doing a small dance. There we go. Such a funny guy. Go and subscribe. I love his stuff. And he's showing good arm wrestling progression as well. Talking about arm wrestling progression, we have the official channel from the Arm Wrestling House, the reality show, and they are doing yet another regional tournament from what I understand. This is Gabriel versus Hunter Knopfs. It's from the G2F Sports Film and Entertainment channel. They're pulling against each other. Booyakasha. Hunter Knopfs takes that very comfortably. And in this same channel, we see Michael Broom pulling against Marcio Barbosa, a legend of our sport. And we see him winning dominantly. Honestly, both of those pins were really kind to their opponents. There was a clear strength gap, and they could have been really foul if they wanted and really do some damage, but they didn't. So great pulling by both of them. On to the next one. We have Brazilian arm wrestling. Hermes says Devon will beat Vitaly right hand. And that's actually something that came from the live, which is why I didn't want to discuss more topics from the live. A lot of arm wrestlers will discuss about this. So Hermes is saying that the left arm is not the same as the right when it comes to Devon, and he believes that Devon will actually probably have more inside power than Vitaly has. So he believes that Devon is a slight favorite. It's either 55 or 60% for Devon. So that's how Hermes called it. And one more thing that people are not discussing yet, so I want to try and be exclusive right here. He talked at some point in Italian, and I don't know Italian, but it seemed like he got a super chat or something that asked him what he thinks are the chances between Leonidas and Brian Shaw. And I think that he said that Leonidas is the favorite. But he said in Italian, so I'm not sure. Do not quote me on that. But we will see. I will actually translate it for tomorrow's morning report. And in case nobody else has brought it up by that point, I will see if that was what happened or if it was just something that I misunderstood. But yeah, let's go to the next one. Tomu, Demanu, Demithu, Stabulba. Like that. So, he did this poll. I voted for the Fright Train, of course. I voted for Brian Shaw. But I really like how he's covering the whole situation, because he also made a poll for the retired Dennis Plinkov off the couch and the motivated Brian Shaw. So that's what this video is about. He's discussing Brian Shaw's chances and how the comments and how the community is feeling about that whole situation. If Dennis will come back, how will it be if he faced Brian Shaw? And that is also based on the comments that Dennis Plinkov made on Brian Shaw, talking about how he's not really an arm wrestler, he doesn't see him as an arm wrestler. And he was feeling that Brian is not really in it for real, so far. And then we're finishing this video up, if we check it right here. He's giving his thoughts on the match, and he's also leaning towards Brian Shaw, but he's saying that Leonidas is in incredible shape right now, and I tend to agree. So, concrete elbow. In this video, they are showing what we were talking about before. So yeah, as concrete elbow also explains it in that moment, we can clearly see that Hermes was only feeling and he wasn't really going. So it's a practice pull as per usual. But of course, rest in peace Hermes. I mean, and not only Hermes. Check this video out, because the ending is probably one of the most legendary endings in the whole arm wrestling scene. So really check that out. Really important. On to the next one. Gob Channel, Iron Casting and Body Mania created this masterpiece, this documentary masterpiece, straight from Russia. So there are in my opinion, three main characters in this video. We have Chervov, I believe he's called, and he's a great puller. I really recommend you go watch this video actually. It's really well made, it feels very documentary style, and it really tells a story of all the three main components leading up to their matches and a bit of their background and how the matches came to be. So this is really good stuff. So we have him. He was, from what I understand, more into strength building and strength athleticism before he got into arm wrestling. And he really didn't have like a big budget or anything. He doesn't come from a rich family. So he did it because of the love for the sport. And he has done everything in like a homemade scenario, you know? Most of the stuff he has made is DIY solution. So really cool to see because he is a Russian champion. Then the other main character with his sexy car right there, it's Dima. Great man also. He was basically the main driver for a lot of the great arm wrestlers, and he's a great arm wrestler in his own sake. He is very good. Has a match set now with Daniel Ustinov. It's the guy that pulled Mindaugas Tarasitis in this now infamous moment, where, as many of you know, we got Mindaugas Tarasitis highlight reel. Really brutal. And then lastly, we have Tainov. A lot of people might know Tainov from East vs West 10, as they are explaining here as well. And he's currently training to take down Tokarev, which is a really great, an old puller. And this is actually a picture of these two when they were younger. Really cool to see as well. With all that being said, after all these channels, lastly, Neil Pickup is going to drop this masterpiece in like 3 days. So do not forget to go and show some love. Write some comments about waiting for this epic collaboration. And of course, it wouldn't be a Mythos video if we didn't plug East vs West 23, the main organization. So we have the world title between David Samusha and Manifestor Alexander. Who do you have in this match? I'm really interested to know who you have. I believe that perhaps Manifestor will surprise a lot of people that night. I really do. I really do that he might actually have the kryptonite. His style might be David Samusha's kryptonite. That really hard dragging hook to the side. So we'll see how it goes, but I have actually Manifesto to win this one. And then you can see my picks. They created the 2 polls. I have Devon Larratt to win in the Vitali match on the right hand. I think it will be close. But I am still leaning on it being like 4-0 for Devon, but close. Like in the kind of way that the left arm match was 4-0, but there was like stoppages and there were a couple of rounds being a bit grindy. That's what I think will happen with this one actually. And then on to the next match, Brian Shaw versus Leonidas. I do have Brian Shaw to win. And that one might be even closer than the Devon and Vitali match. That match might actually be very tight. A lot of people are saying that it will go 3-0 either way. I don't really see that. I think that both athletes are very endurant, and because they are new to the sport, I don't think that anybody will run through anyone. I think that some adjustments can be made during the match. Probably not so much as a high-level match, but I can see it being 3-1, 3-2 for Brian Shaw, and the rounds will probably be pretty long. Unless if Brian Shaw just completely runs through, or if Leonidas completely runs through. Like if Leonidas can do what he did to Larry Wheels, where he just sucked him inside a hook and then bled him and then just destroyed him in the rest of the rounds, yeah, then it's a different game. With that all being said, If you're wondering why my face suddenly got very bright, well, it's because East versus West. Right here, all the products. This is the affiliate link that you can check out in the description below. So everything you see in this website, you get a 5% off, code MythosArts. And then if you go in here, you can even get the season pass and you can get the pay-per-view. It's 29 days left. And of course, same goes here. If you use MythosArts, 5% off the code, and you can enjoy some good arm wrestling, you can enjoy some great pulling, and of course, you can be here doing this journey and enjoy the situation together with me and the other arm wrestlers, and the arm wrestling channels and their fans, because it's a lovely sport. And with that all being said, well, you know what time